Yeah, it's rare. Hard is right. Seems like everything's upside down. We're going to start with golf in the middle of the NBA Finals. Liga, Texas baseball headed to the Super
Regional talk.
Yeah, no, we always look forward to Houston talk football. With all that going on, no, golf is the biggest story in sports at the current moment, gentlemen, and it's a huge one. The PGA Tour, also DP World Tour, and the Public Investment Fund, that is the PIF. That is the fund that is essentially it is the Saudi-backed fund.
Yes,
that's the Saudi Arabian money from the kind of Saudi royal families. But they have decided to unify. What they say is unifying the game of golf on a global scale. So they are, I guess, these same people that finance LIV are not going to finance or be the lone investor. There's going to be a sole investor to this new entity, this new merged collaborative entity. The sole investor will be the PIF, which is funded by the Saudi royal family, basically. And it's the parties have signed an agreement that combines the golf-related commercial businesses of PIF and the rights, including LIV, of course, the commercial businesses and the rights of the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour into a new collectively owned for-profit entity to ensure that all stakeholders benefit from a model that delivers maximum excitement, as they say, and competition among the game's best players. Just so you know, it's pretty complex. I'm not a business lawyer, so you probably have somebody who's a little bit more versed and knowledgeable to break it down for you. But separately, the PGA Tour Incorporated will remain as a 501c6 tax-exempt organization and retain administrative oversight of events for those assets contributed by the PGA Tour. So they still do have tax-exempt status. It's not changing that. Like I said, I don't know exactly how it all breaks down, but they are merging it all, and their goal right now, I believe, essentially is to unite all of golf internationally. By the way, all of the litigation between the two entities, between LIV and between PGA, all of the players who are suing both sides, that all now ceases. That is done. All the litigation is now over.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of the motivation here, was so that they could get out of the courts and settle this thing another way. I will say this. I said last year, I went back and got my notes. That's why your boy didn't throw away anything.
No, that's why he got them notes, folks.
That's why I don't throw away anything. Here's my notes, because I had some quotes from different lawyers and different people close to the PGA. The PGA of America CEO, Seth Waugh. I remember this quote, and I wrote it down because it stood out to me. This is when LIV started snatching up players like Brooks Koepka. So this is probably about a year ago. So he says, quote, "I came from a world of disruption. I think it's inevitable. I actually think it's healthy. You either disrupt or you get disrupted. That's what this is." And at that time, I remember saying to myself, and I came on it and I said, man, this is going to be really bad for the PGA.
Very.
This standoff with LIV, but it's going to be really good for golf in the end. Really good for golf in the end. This is bad for the PGA. They're losing a ton of power. And I think we agree they lost the standoff here with LIV.
They definitely lost the standoff.
But I do think golf honestly wins. I think the fans are going to win. I think the players are going to win. We'll get into all the nasty details here and get you guys' thoughts on it. But ultimately for me, like I said, bad for PGA, good ultimately for golf. And there were warning signs that this was going to happen. Hell, President Trump came out and said they were going to merge.
He said that at the very beginning.
He said at the very beginning.
Yep.
He's a golf guy.
Yep.
Say what you want about President Trump. He's a sports guy. He's a golf guy.
Yep.
This is what he put on social media. All of those golfers that remain loyal to the very disloyal PGA in all of its different forms will pay a big price when the inevitable merger with LIV comes. This was in July of 2022.
Yeah.
He said inevitable merger with LIV comes, and you get nothing but a big thank you from PGA officials who are making millions of dollars a year. You don't take the money now, you will get nothing after the merger takes place, and only say how smart the original signees were.
Yep.
Good luck to all, and congratulations to really talented Cam Smith on this incredible win. There you go.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
We are right now at that point where, we're basically saying that was a good move by them. It was chess. The PGA was playing checkers.
Yep.
And the LIV golfers won, and I'm sure there are a lot of golfers right now disappointed with their decision because the PGA convinced them to be loyal and that it was immoral to take money from LIV, and that now they have joined the immoral bandwagon
money
and taking
from
the
LIV.
money from LIV. It's like, well,
Tiger Woods. I'm glad you brought that up about the money. Tiger Woods turned down $800 million to be loyal. Rory McIlroy turned $500 million to be loyal. Hideki Matsua, $300 million. Will Zalatoris, $130 million to stay loyal to a brand that sold them that this is what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper because I think this is why this has all happened. I think that going through these lawsuits that they were going through, I think all the people that were investigating, digging through, sifting through the books, trying to see if they were being, as someone said yesterday, cooking the books. And I think they were about to be exposed a lot too. So it's like, hey, let's back off. Let's see what we can do with these guys because our kitchen is a little dusty and they don't know exactly what we're putting in as our seasoning salt. So there are some things that has probably gone on behind the scenes that led them to do this because of the simple fact, too. They did not let the top players know that they were planning to do this.
No.
They were on the course.
Yeah, they weren't in the loop, man.
They were not in the loop. And these are the people that have stood by you, walked with you, went to fight for you. Remember, Rory was going off a lot.
Tiger came out against them.
Tiger went out against them. What's his name? Brandel Chambly. Mm-hmm. Somebody said they better put a Brooks Koepka tweeted it out today. He said, "Can we do a welfare check on Brandel Chambly?"
Even Jack Nicklaus admitted he turned down $100 million.
Yes.
They were just asking him. They would ask him just to say he was down with LIV.
Yes.
He did not do anything. He can't. He wasn't golfing anymore. Just like no. We just need you to be on board.
To be disposed. That's why Greg Norman jumped out there. He was like, "I'll do it. I'll do it. I need some more money. Let me go out here and do it."
Well, Greg Norman has been trying to start another golf league for a long time.
For a while, yeah.
It is something. And honestly, this is crazy. How about this? This is you guys don't watch Succession, do you?
No, but I watched.
Man, dude, Succession may have been the best show on TV for the last 5 or 6 years, man. I would encourage you to check it out because this is some Succession type stuff going on here. So for a long time, Greg Norman, who's the CEO, right, of LIV, he's the CEO and the commissioner of LIV. In the entire statement, no mention of him.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mention the CEO or the commissioner of LIV once. They didn't mention him one time, guys.
Yep.
That is crazy. And you know what that basically means? And I will say this because I was looking for the I remember seeing an article that was written about if this could happen, if the merger could happen. This was like a year or so ago because people were talking about this. And they talked to Rory about it. And Rory McIlroy suggested even then no talks could even take place unless Norman was no longer involved with LIV Golf. Remember, this is a guy for 30 years has attempted to start a rival tour against the PGA, and this is his zenith. He succeeded.
Yep, he won.
Guys, you don't get startup leagues to force a merger with a major sports league in America. The last time it was done was like the AFL.
Going to the NFL. That's right. That's right.
It's the last time it was done.
Right.
This doesn't happen.
Yep.
And essentially, Greg Norman, this was his baby, but he's out. They booted him.
Yeah.
They basically said, "Oh yeah, we can get
Jay
done."
Moynihan is about to be booted too from the PGA. I think his communication skills with his star players, and you know as well as I do,
that could be
when those situations happen and no one's in the know. No one knew that this was happening, and then all of a sudden we get breaking news at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning that they're going to merge, and all of the players are trying to figure out, wait, what? And again, you know as well as I do, man, when you're standing on that front line like that, pounding your chest and pounding the table and being definitive that this is not going to happen, and all of a sudden they say, yeah, man, I got you. It's like my man Nino Brown said, it's not personal, it's business.
Oh, it's business.
And you sit here too, and you got to think about this. Ronaldo and Messi are going to play for Saudi in soccer. They haven't finalized Messi's deal, but it's on the table. Ronaldo's already gone. He's already there. So they are trying to definitely take over the entire sports calendar with this stuff, because it's a lot that's going on that there may be more stuff that's going on that we have no idea about.
Yeah, I mean, the claim is that you want to look at the macro of it. Basically, the claim is that the Saudi Arabian government, royal family, however you want to state it, that they are engaging in sports washing at this time, right? And that they are trying to cover up a lot of
sins,
misdeeds, a lot of things that they have done allegedly or whatever, and they're trying to reintegrate themselves into the geopolitical landscape, international landscape. They do it through sports because they know it's sentimental. It holds like a sweet spot for everybody for different reasons. And yes, as Harsh mentioned, they are doing it, through a lot of different sports organizations. They have F1.
Yep.
They have a $600 million deal with F1. They have a $400 million stake in Newcastle. So this is not just something that is exclusive to golf. Now, this is probably their biggest victory. There's no question about it, because they have forced a merger with the PGA. But they have, if you want to have the macro discussion, I know there's discussion about Saudi Arabia and their place in the geopolitical landscape and transgressions against America. I'm not getting deep into that now. All right, I'm sure everybody has done their own research about it. All right, we're not going to get deep into that. But that's where a lot of the resentment is, the public resentment against Saudi Arabia. And that was hinted at by, Jay Moynihan at times. But what I brought up at the time when people were saying this was blood money, you shouldn't take the blood money. I don't pocket watch. And at the time, I don't pocket watch. Somebody want to take the money, make the right move for you and your family.
Yep.
Loyalty to a company or a corporation these days, unless it's yours, probably misplaced. But it's
we just saw it.
But we just saw
it too.
But we've all made that mistake.
Yep.
How many of us listening to right now have been loyal to a company or a corporation, and then they did not reciprocate that loyalty? That's the American experience these days. Everybody's done it. You're like, no, I love this company, man. I'm in. And it's like, yeah, well, you're in, but they're out.
Yeah, we out.
It happens. And also part of the American dream now, how many of us want to make more money for less work?
Right.
99% of us? That's what LIV was. Break it down to on our scale. They were offering them more money, way more money, for way less work. And how many of y'all would go, yeah, that sounds about right to me. That sounds ideal to me.
Sounds ideal.
Everybody's going to be happy with that one. That's what they were offering. And I think all of us would have went, yeah, you know what? And the people want to get into the blood money, and I get that. But keep this in mind, because I did the same notes I brought up a year ago. I just pulled them right back out. Saudi Arabia, America's largest foreign military sales customer. U.S. defense contracts approved, sale to up to $139 billion in equipment to Saudi Arabia. 10th biggest foreign holder of U.S. debt, Saudi Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, according to the U.S. Treasury. Saudi Kingdom is the biggest source of capitals for U.S. startups, according to Wall Street Journal. And some of the companies that we love and adore and hold sacred, like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, Raytheon, GM, Ford, Starbucks, Pepsi, AMC, Bechtel, Google, Chevron, you name it, are all deeply invested in Saudi Arabia and the Saudi royal family. So we want to get into a much larger conversation about it. We can, but the truth is, criticizing those golfers and saying that they're taking blood money, you don't hold that same standard to the corporations in this country. We don't hold that same standard to
I saw Starbucks line was still long outside.
Yeah, I mean,
I went by Starbucks today. There was a lot of people outside.
Come on, guys.
They're still gonna go there.
That was to me. That was a weird conversation that was brought on by random propaganda from some side. It's like, guys, the research tells you we're all heavily invested in it. We're all heavily invested in the Saudi royal family, whether we like it or not, whether it makes us disgusted or not. It is what it is. China, you can have the same conversation.
Yeah, two things happened. Brooks Koepka won just recently.
That was big.
Remember, you kept saying it too. You like, man, I just want to see if one of these LIV guys are in the tournament at the end, and how's everybody going to react if they end up winning it. Remember, he almost won the Masters too, by the way, and he just came back and won this championship. And here's the other part of it too. A lot of litigation was going on. A lot of litigation.
Tons of it.
Now it's all gone. Now it's done. There's no litigation. All the lawsuits, all the things that were going on, it's no more now. Because they decided to merge. The angry situation that Rory McIlroy had when they served him from Patrick Reed, serving him a subpoena on Christmas and at his crib, that's done. It's no more.
Nope.
So now we're moving on. But what happens next to the entire PGA Tour, LIV Tour, whatever or are they gonna change their name now? What is it gonna be?
Yeah, we don't know. They don't know the details about this. We know Greg Norman's not going to be involved.
And we do know this.
That's what we know. The CEO of LIV and the commissioner of LIV, a Sports Illustrated report says all of this apparently came together without the knowledge of many involved.
Yep.
To your point, Harge. And it looked like, said one source told Sports Illustrated that it appears Greg Norman will not be part of whatever the new entity is. Like, he's out.
He got his money, though, so he's cool. He's got his bread, so he's like, I'm out.
I ain't mad at him. But like I said, he's got like the personal victory for himself. Like I said, for 30 years, Greg Norman's been trying to, have a startup, golf league that can compete with the PGA because he did not agree with the PGA's practices.
Exactly.
And this is kind of my point. I said, listen, I know it's going to be bad for the PGA. I get it. It's the PGA's worst nightmare. But this could be really good for golf. And turns out the PGA changed a lot of its practices.
Absolutely.
Right after LIV came up and it poached a lot of golfers. Yep. And a ton of the golfers, I'm talking about Rory McIlroy on the record, Jordan Spieth on the record for saying, actually, the influence that LIV has had on the PGA has been really good for us.
Yep.
They've made the PGA now has, come to, they've figured out that they must be open to compromise.
Yeah, and it said that the PGA subsequently reworked its schedule and payment structure to ensure that the star players earn more than ever before, with designated events featuring $20 million purses to put back to ensure as much.
Which is basically what LIV was doing.
Yeah.
They just decided, all right, we're going to take what LIV was doing.
He won like $4 million the other day, Brooks Koepka, when he won the LIV Tour. Before he went and played another tour, he won like $4 million at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I do think it was inevitable. I mean, all the different lawyers who were on the record at the time, this all started to kind of come to a head. I mean, most of them said that the PGA had no shot at winning these antitrust lawsuits.
Yeah.
They just didn't. And I think, Harge, what you brought up is a good point too. I went and did some deep diving about maybe there's some stuff in the way the PGA does business that would have became public.
Especially when you got those nonprofits
with subpoena power and all that. Yeah, that they probably didn't want people to see. So that may have been some of the incentive for them to come to the negotiating table and these compromise.
Time to move around. We can't sit still, man, because things happening. You got to do some different things. But now I wonder about those guys that turned down the money and what we were talking about, the loyalty and what they were being sold a bill of goods, and it ended up being watered down. What'd you say? Flavor Aid? They got Flavor Aid. They were trying to drink the PGA Kool-Aid, and they were giving them Flavor Aid, and then it all came to a head. I can't wait to hear what Tiger's got to say about this, because it doesn't seem like he was in the know as well. Because nobody was in the know. You said that no, it just happened behind the scenes.
They said nobody really knew. They didn't tell anybody.
And you look at Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Sergio, Bryson DeChambeau, Cameron Smith. They all got paid to go somewhere else, and they still got an opportunity. Because remember, they brought them back on to be able to play in these events, and that's the other part of it too.
Yeah, I will say, for the record, too, some of these players were going to lose tons and tons of money on endorsements if they went to LIV.
Yep.
So there is something of, there was other reasons other than being just loyal. Like a Tiger Woods would have lost millions upon millions on his deals because he wouldn't have been on TV as much. He would have sided with people, so maybe Nike could have backed off of him on some of his money. Like a lot of companies that give him a lot of money could have backed off. Rory is another guy who's very well endorsed. Yeah. So there was other money involved, but it is still shady to do all this and then not go, hey, by the way, we're going to kind of screw you on the back end.
I think they were worried about the groundswell potentially of, you know what I mean, of opposition if it got out that this was happening, if it leaked out even the slightest, that guys like Tiger and guys like Rory who felt passionately, about the situation, they were vehemently against LIV, that they would have came out and they would have got a lot of support on their side. And I think this was also Jay Monahan trying to save his job.
Oh, he fired.
But I don't know if there was a way to save his job.
No, he out of there.
Yeah,
now.
You're right. He's going to go fire. They're going to give him $20 million to walk away.
And he's probably fine with that.
Yeah, he's going to get paid a ton of money to go away and go on vacation.
And to Patrick's theory, he in this whole thing, because he helped negotiate it, he probably helped negotiate his own damn parachute.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like,
would you not? I was going to say, would
so
you not?
I'm going to put that in there that I need to get about $20 million just on.
What's Greg Norman's parachute? Oh, he don't need one.
Because he already got it.
Yeah, getting a lot of
he already
cash
had
on me.
That's right.
I love this texter. It said, "LIV equals the Michael Scott Paper Company.